We've got you covered all season long. Welcome to the BCSN Nation podcast, powered by Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right, here it is. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 24 of the BCSN Nation podcast, powered by Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go, sports bar. Brandon Carnes here. Justin's back from Italy.
Yes.
Dion
Ciao, ciao.
Thompson, of course. Ciao, ciao. Yeah. So I'm going to start you guys off with a little bit of action. We tried to get into Friday, Dion. We ran out of time on Game Day Nation. I want to know if you could build your best 1-2 punch of local players. We'll pick a 1-2 punch on the girls' side and the guys' side. Your best 2v2 hoops team you could put together. Dion, you can elaborate on your attempt from Friday.
So initially I went with Mac Russell and I went with Leach. Yeah, Isaiah.
And Mackay.
But I got to be honest with you. Those Foster boys, I mean, just because I'm on a Facebook page where you can kind of see, I didn't realize they were together growing up. So you look at a chemistry thing with them and the way their dunks are highlights. I mean, they screen and roll. They know each other. Yeah. I think that would be a very difficult team to beat because if, they can pick and pop, and if they pick and go to the rack, it's going to be a highlight. So I got to go with Willie and Sean Foster right now.
There are de facto Javonte Hill replacement as the human highlight reels this season. Justin, your guys' side 2v2 pick.
All right, I'm going to reel it back in closer to the Toledo-based 419. I'm going to go with Carter Kester and Isaiah Mac Russell. Yeah. Why? Because they are taller players who can play, in my mind, multiple positions or multiple attributes, characteristics of players who can play inside, play outside. We brought it up, Isaiah Mac Russell in a game earlier this year in the CHSL. They kind of clamped down and prevented him from driving from the wing, so he kind of went inside, used his post game, back to the basket, so I like that. And then Carter Kester has made big shot after big shot, all-time leading scorer in TC history. Yeah. He surpassed his teammates in that category, and then he's just being a reliable force and not just a scoring machine, but a high IQ guy, gets rebounds, all that kind of stuff.
I'm going to go I like Isaiah Mac Russell. I'm taking that pick, but I want Antoine West to go with him. I want somebody. We've seen Antoine score. We've seen him distribute. And then Isaiah Mac Russell, like you said, he brings that size, that inside presence. And if you got two D1 prospects on your team, you're doing all right. On the girls' side, I'm going along with kind of what Dion picked here with chemistry and knowing each other. I'm cheating, and I'm taking the Bender twins. That's an easy pick for me. Give me Brooke and Elise. You can't beat twin telepathy on the court, Dion.
I'm going to go with Everts and Gray, and I'm going to tell you why.
All right. Everts, Victoria Gray.
Yeah, my bad. We've been working together too long.
On the desk.
So you think about it like this. If you're Everts, she loves to shoot. She can shoot from deep.
Lights out.
Gray loves to rebound. So in a 2-on-2 scenario, you want somebody that looks to go to the boards.
I'm with it.
Like I said, the pick and roll, she can score on the interior, and if she doesn't have it, she'll kick it out to Everts. I really like that, too. That's going to be a tough two to beat, Justin.
I agree, Justin.
Well, I have it written down right there, and we did not even talk about it. So that's how
twin telepathy?
We've been on TV and podcast too long.
That's what it is.
I've always said you guys look so much alike.
All right, it confuses.
Ditto everything that he just said, but I'll kind of talk about the Bender sisters as well.
Sure.
I think that obviously similar to what he was talking about with the Lima Foster boys, the fact that they know each other, played off each other. Their games, I think, are somewhat similar. So if you're kind of trying to differentiate and try to find maybe a more guard-oriented and then a forward, big, small kind of deal. But, you can't go wrong with any of those. And all of these players may or may not be on Friday's top 10.
You look behind
first team all BCSN. Right.
We need to sponsor
when it's behind you.
We need to make this come to a reality at some point, Justin. We should have a
2v2 hoops tournament.
That would be
that would
be great.
You got the money. We got the ideas.
Well, we got the man right here, too.
Coming up on the show today. Of course, our clip of the week from Renewal by Anderson, our game of the week by Dunn Chevy in Oregon, and, of course, a brand new episode right here every single Wednesday at 4 p.m. or the bcsnnation.com/podcast or anywhere you get your audio mediums. And make sure you're following us at BCSN Sports. But now we got to get back to last week. We'll recap a Friday matchup that turned into an upset in the NLL. Clay going into the Hive, picking up the 64-60 win. And we were excited. We're like, man, this might spoil things for Whitmer. And then all three of us had a recollection at one point that it was cross-divisional and ignore all of our things that we say. Braylon Williams, like I said, 18 points leads the way for Clay in a huge upset. Justin, I know you talked to Coach Boyce about things that went well and did not go well for them.
Yeah, well, first I want to hats off to Lionel Armstead and Clay.
Yes,
anytime you have an upset, you can't just say, oh, why the team lost. Yeah, hey, why did Clay win? So I think that they earned every bit of that. Braylon Williams was a player of the week for us earlier this season.
Absolutely.
First team all hair, by the way. Luscious
I'm
locks
with
there.
the FTAH.
With the fact that they were able to take on a team, bigger enrollment, a team that's the top seeded Division I team in our area. Kudos to them. But in talking to Coach Dave Boyce, he said we had been shooting 64% from 2-point land. They were down to 39% that particular day.
Sure.
Evan Sterling had been out for 10 days prior to that game. That was his first game back, so, shaking off the rust. Braylon Foster, he's injured, done for the year. They're down to their third string center. So they got, some injuries and some adversity to deal with at not the most optimal time as they get ready to finish up the regular season and then go into the postseason in a very tough Northeast Ohio district where they'll get a home game against Cleveland Heights. That game is live on the BCSN Plus app February 26th. But then if they win, they're going to have to take on the winner of Elyria and St. Edward. And that game will be at Lakewood High School, not Lakewood St. Ed High School. No home court advantage if St. Ed's wins, but still in the same neighborhood, if you will, for them. So it's going to be a hostile environment for Perrysburg if they get there.
Yeah, I'm watching that Friday night. We were all excited seeing Clay. I mean, I told Justin about the other day. They felt like they could not miss in the first half and kind of had Perrysburg on the back foot for a lot of it.
Yeah, they did, and they were attacking, and sometimes you look at the first half, they were up, and I'm like, okay, Clay, it's still Perrysburg. They're at Perrysburg. Perrysburg plays tough. But they figured out exactly how to attack the defense. If you watch, they were hitting the gaps. They were finding the open guys. And something else I noticed, too, they were getting a lot of loose balls. Yeah. Like, that was a game that you
could play.
Yes, yeah, they played really hard, and it showed up.
Yeah, it was all of us super excited for that matchup. Perrysburg did bounce back from that loss. They had lost back-to-back against Lima Senior and Clay. They bounced back last night, beat rival Anthony Wayne 67-53. Justin mentioned it. Playoffs are getting rolling this week. But you know what? Talking about that Clay game, I'm not done talking about it. We got a Sean's Irish Tavern Player of the Week. Cisco, hit the wipe. Let's see who it is. Me saying, let's see who it is, doesn't really work when I just teased that it's going to be Clay-related. Dom Pegish, the second Clay Eagle to take home a Sean's Irish Tavern Player of the Week award. Only 11 points. You see, maybe you're not wowed by that number, but 9 of those came in the fourth quarter. Dion, you were excited about
from the free throw line. Yes. So if you watch towards the end of the game, he closed it out. That's why I believe that. I think he was a fan's pick as well. But when you watch that game, it was still pretty tight, but he closed it out, knocking down free throw after free throw towards the end of the game and shut the door on Perrysburg.
Yeah, and I think if you're a coach, you got to find ways in those crucial final moments where you know that the other team's going to foul. You got to find creative ways to get your best free throw shooter the ball. Yeah, and obviously the opponent is going to try to double team or figure out ways to get the ball to the worst free throw shooter on the court. So again, hats off to Clay. And before we continue with hoops, Derek Pennington, Clay
on
football
the Clay
coach, he was named the head coach on Tuesday. Recognized and introduced to the crowd at halftime of the Bowling Green versus Clay game. He comes from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Caledonia High School. Took his team to the 2022 state championship game at Ford Field. So a winning pedigree. And, it's not necessarily cupboards bare. Yes, Clay had a good, strong senior class led by Mason Heinzel, now the Pitt quarterback. But hats off to Derek Pennington for coming to Oregon.
2022 Michigan Coach of the Year was Coach Pennington. Dion, what you got?
Hey, shouts out to Clay because they've been doing some really good hires here lately.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you think
Coach
of Clay,
Armstead among those.
Yeah, you usually used to think, okay, they're going to keep guys in the area, guys who are traditionally old Clay grads. They're really kind of stepping outside the box and getting some good hires. So congrats to those guys.
Congrats, of course, to Dom Pegish. A lot of that game spent in foul trouble for him. Scored his first 2, only 4 minutes in the game. Did not score again until the fourth quarter. Hit a clutch 3, and then, like we talked about, finished things out at the 3-point line. Did Pegish, our Sean's Irish Tavern Player of the Week out in Oregon. We'll be right back after 30 seconds from Buffalo Wild Wings. Hit it, Cisco.
Buffalo Wild Wings, buy one, get one free. Boneless Thursdays saved me so much cash. I can finally do everything I've ever wanted in life, like skydiving. You ready? No, this was a mistake, a huge mistake. I want to go back. I want to go back. Go! Yeah, I'll probably just use the money I saved to get more buy one, get one free boneless wings at B-Dubs. No brainer. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
March isn't here, but let's let the madness begin anyways. Division 6 district semifinal. On the girls' side, we've got Tenora taking on Ottawa Hills. You see it on the screen at Napoleon this Thursday at 7:30. Ottawa Hills girls finished the regular season 14-9, 5-1 in the TAC, and finished off beating Gibsonburg and Ellie Everts, followed by what is the now number 2 seed in their bracket, Montpelier, in their last 2 games. So a big starting point there for Ottawa Hills getting things right going into the playoffs, Justin.
Yeah, both of them won close games the game prior in the sectional finals to get to this point.
By the way.
Yeah, so those were close matchups. Ottawa Hills went on the road. That's a healthy trip, about an hour or so drive towards the Indiana border to take on the Locomotives of Montpelier.
What a great name.
And then Tenora knocking off Liberty Center. So you see the top of that bracket, it's NWOAL and NWOAL, Patrick Henry and Evergreen, and both of those teams have had stellar seasons. More emphasis on Patrick Henry because they're one of the top teams in the state in Division 6. Yeah. So the winner of this Ottawa Hills Tenora game, in my opinion, probably going to face Karis Crosland and Patrick Henry. So that game will be on Saturday. If Ottawa Hills advances, that game will be live on the BCSN Plus app as well. But hats off to Tim Lambert. You know, first year after taking over for a longtime coach at Ottawa Hills. You never know what you might get in that first year, but Tim Lambert has done a great job. I know Dion's brought up Kendall Skyver, a freshman who's been playing on both JV and varsity. So I think, now the JV season's over, varsity will be full throttle for her. Yes. But Ottawa Hills was 5-13 last year. Wow. 5-13, and they've hit double digits a while back. So, and I saw this quote from the preview prior to the season starting, and Coach Lambert said, quote, "We are a team full of heart and determination to get better and improve. Mission accomplished. They have done a great job, and if they can get to a district championship game, let alone maybe pull off an upset, first things first, got to take down a tough Defiance Tenora team." But I think that it's been a successful season no matter what for Ottawa Hills coming off a 5-win season last year.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think they've been very successful, and they're still young, so they're still learning. But this has been if you want to rank the year, this is an A-plus season, no matter what happens.
Yeah, you look at the stats. Tenora scoring 46.6 a game, only giving up 39.8. Ottawa Hills on the other side scoring just under 50, giving up 41 a game. So those defensive stats, right, align right at 40 points per game. So it feels like a race to 40 points. Kendall Skyver, Sophie Van Sluten get you pretty close to 40 on average. So a good look for them. Nova Oakley from Tenora scored her 1,000th career point against Montpelier back on the 28th of January. So they've got a scorer themselves. But like you talked about, that duo between Sophie Van Sluten and Kendall Skyver is going to be tough for anybody to compete with until maybe we match up with Patrick Henry.
Agreed, 100%. I think that those players offer the balanced scoring. I know I talk about that quite a bit, but I just think it is so beneficial for a team. Yes, you want to have someone, a guy or a girl, depending on what you're talking about, to be able to say, yes, okay, go get me a bucket and just one-on-one use those skills and attributes that you developed over the course of your high school career and even before that. But at the same time, I think the benefits over the course of 4 quarters to have some balanced scoring just can pay dividends on down the road. Yeah,
and this is something we've talked about with Ottawa Hills on the boys' side this season too, right? Balanced scoring. You don't need to have a go-to person. When I have multiple people giving me 10, 12, 14 points a game, Dion, those things shake out well, especially when you get to playoff time and maybe somebody's cold, right?
Yeah, because it's kind of hard to scout that. So if you're a coach and you're preparing, it's a little easier to prepare for 1 or 2 guys as opposed to, okay, I don't know who's going to step up this week, so we got to make sure we're all on point defensively. But, yeah, I would agree with that point as well.
So we got Ottawa Hills riding a 3-game winning streak as they head into this Tenora matchup. You see it Thursday, 7:30 p.m. on the BCSN Plus app, so make sure you're checking that one out. But now we got to get to our clip of the week, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Cisco, hit it. Clip of the week takes us back to the battle for Sylvania, the closing seconds. You see the screen on the inbound play. Jeremy McDonald knows how to make those. Will Mazies does not care what play you draw up. Get out of here. The celebration running across the court. We'll see the replay here.
Yeah,
Will
we broke
Macy's
that down.
get out. Yeah, broke it down on Friday as it happened. An amazing play, winning in a rivalry on the road. Kind of a cluster there on the screen attempt. But and Gavin Kiefer, the one shot block.
If you watch, and Macy's did a great job. He did his job. But watch everybody else on this play. Everybody was in perfect defensive position.
Yep.
Everybody was. There was nowhere else to go but to take that shot. But look at Macy's. What I like, after he did the block, he knew there was a little bit of time left. Let me throw it up. Let the time all the way run out. So that's a smart basketball play right there.
Basketball IQ, senior, also the quarterback on the football team. Been there, done that in crucial situations, late in any type of sport, in any type of game, knowing that there's only 2.5 seconds. You know that as soon as Northview gets the ball, if they're able to inbound it, that they're going to have to take a quick shot. It's not going to be an opportunity for a shot and a tip and all that kind of stuff, or a catch and a pass and then a shot. There's just not a ton of time left on that clock. I love the Northview student section on the left-hand side there in the blue.
Ready to
get their hands. Oh, no.
The Surrender Cobras.
Surrender Cobras.
There we go.
That. But you know what? Hey, hats off to the winners. Again, victors. Clay beating Perrysburg earlier on the podcast. We were talking about that. Southview
good game,
getting a win.
Game,
quality game. They go 2-0. The seniors on this team for Southview go 2-0 in their senior year against Northview. And this is a reason why it was our BCSN game of the week, because when these two teams get together, no love lost. You see a packed
throw
gym,
the records out the window.
Everyone standing up.
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter. And, a great hats off play. And Dion and Rhett did a great job breaking it down offensively and defensively. But you got to have that want to, on a defensive play at the very end of the game. We just saw it on Tuesday night with UT and Ball State. And a shot got off, but it was waved off. But at the same time, there's going to be moments like this. And you kind of work for that in the preseason. And you say, hey, we don't know when this might be. But we're putting in the work now, so we're prepared for a February 14th showdown against our rival. We got to make a defensive stop, and they got it.
And watch the block. There's no swipe down, go straight up. That's exactly how you teach it.
Yeah, worst case scenario, it's a well-contested shot that if Gavin Kiefer makes it, shout out to Gavin Kiefer. And you talk about coming out of those timeouts, you got to be a little worried because we talked about it Friday. Jeremy McDonald, more plays coming out of that than Broadway. He gets them all drawn up. But Will Macy's 8 points on the night to tally with that swat.
Well, remember what happened right before that play happens. They call a timeout, see exactly what the configuration was, and then then Jeremy McDonald called another. So that was a little cat and mouse, nice coaching piece by Dennis Springs.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to as a coach, let your players make a play. I am a little leery when you're jumping up and trying to block. You might get a fingertip and you might get a quick whistle
catch
from
an
the
elbow,
ref,
whatever.
Or maybe a savvy offensive player. You kind of lean into him. I think with
he had time.
With two. That's why I was looking at the clock, trying to zero in on the top
maybe
right screen.
Pump to redraw.
A pump fake right there, and then keep your foot. There was 1.5, so he caught it 1 second off the clock. You see Macy's momentum going towards the baseline.
Kind of tripped up too, so I wonder if maybe that threw off the rhythm.
It threw the screen off. Yeah, he couldn't set a screen for his guy because he tripped.
But whatever it is, it's a dub for the Cougars. Case closed. Whatever happens.
You want more clips just like this, or maybe you just want to watch Will Macy's stuff Gavin Kiefer a few more times. Head over to our TikTok at BCSN Sports. But now it's time for student section of the week. Give me the wipe, Cisco. Let's see who it is. Oh, we talked about the Hive. Let's just stay with the Hive. Perrysburg, this week's student section of the week, taking on Findlay on Friday. And if we know one thing, we talked about it earlier in the show, the Hive comes ready. The Hive packs, and they are ready to go on Friday.
Yeah, they had helmets on. They had lacrosse helmets on.
Whatever it's got to be.
I love it.
Come prepared because apparently you got to have a helmet to enter the Perrysburg student section.
Nicole will be there.
Nicole will be. See, I didn't even have to ask. Justin's back from Italy. He's on his A game. Mamma mia. Unison Health, shout out to them for sponsoring our student section of the week. So come ready at the Hive. But now it's time for more playoffs. Division 6 sectional final. Now we're going to the boys' side. Toledo Christian now with this expanded format, hosting the opener when they take on Cary. You see the bracket up on the screen. And if you're listening, pull the stream up anyway. Woodmore gets the winner of Mohawk and Northwood. Toledo Christian and Cary are going. This is kind of our TAC bracket for the Division 6 side of things. Ottawa Hills, Hopewell out at the bottom, and then Maumee Valley, Lakota. But we're focused on TC and Cary for this one, gentlemen.
Yeah, leave that full screen up, Cisco. So Mohawk won on Tuesday night. So
Cisco.
Northwood has been eliminated. So Mohawk will take on Woodmore, and everything else there is being played on a Friday night. But this is a Northern 10 Conference Cary versus a Toledo Area Athletic Conference in Toledo Christian. Remember TC, #1 ranked in the state last year in the state tournament.
Correct.
They were in Division 4 last year. They're now in Division 6 this year with the expanded postseason configuration for the OHSA. So though TC is going to see some different teams in their bracket as a result of that switcheroo, but this Northern 10 Conference, and you might be unfamiliar with it if some of our listeners or viewers. So that has Colonel Crawford, Mohawk on your screen, Upper Sandusky, and Seneca East. Those are the top 4 teams for the Northern 10 Conference. All of them have 14 or more wins. So it's not just some cream puffs and cupcakes from a rural part of Ohio. These boys can play, but so can Toledo Christian. The winner will likely face, I think Mohawk is going to beat Woodmore. Mohawk is the #1 seed. They elected to play a first-round game. But Mohawk is going to advance up there, and then Toledo Christian and Cary are going to battle it out. And we talk about it all season long. You got Carter Kester, Dion, but Silas Mickle, I think they're playing their best ball right now. They, lost in overtime at Ottawa Hills a few Fridays ago, but since then, they've been playing really, really, really well.
So they started playing a zone, if you start watching them, a 2-3 zone, which I like because it keeps Kester out of foul trouble for one. And they've mastered it. What they did to Maumee Valley with that zone, they really had them flustered. So, and they're playing at home, too. Toledo Christian at home, we talk about this. They are very difficult to beat. They're going to bring a big crowd out. They're very confident playing at home.
You see, they're in the Old Fort district. Their common opponent, Old Fort, this season for Cary and TC. Toledo Christian lost 59-58 to Old Fort. Cary lost 81-21. So if you just look at those two scores, things bode well for the Eagles in this one. They're riding a 4-game winning streak since that overtime loss to Ottawa Hills. Oh, by the way, Carter Kester, we talk about him plenty. 39 in the win over Cardinal stretch on Friday. That one, 30-24, I think, was the halftime score, and then just erupted into a Toledo Christian blowout in the second half. They really found their stretch offensively and defensively in that one.
Talk about a senior going out with a bang. He's
Yeah,
already got the school scoring record. And in some cases, like balanced scoring, 39 points ain't no balanced
scoring.
Take
where you get them, right?
But, I guess. And with Carter Kester, I think he still facilitates elsewhere. He knows he's got to be the man. The scouting report says Carter Kester's the man when it comes to TC D6 hoops. But I think that they play well within the system that has got them there. Dance with the girl that you took to the dance kind of deal. So I think that is the ability for them to find the niche. Because Coach Tyler Boris told me earlier in preparation for the game of the week that he said we need 10 to 14 points from players not named Kester and not named Mickle. So I think that is where that's the piece of the puzzle that has to connect in the postseason.
And you know how you get that? If you watch Carter, every time he gets the basketball, all eyes are on him. And
collapse on him and he kicks.
Even though he scores a lot, he makes great passes. So, if you're one of the complimentary players, crash the opposite side of the board when he gets it. He'll find you, or if he takes a shot, you're going to have a chance.
Baseline cut, whatever it is.
There's like 2 guys on him every time he touches the basketball.
And deservedly so when you're dropping 39. That game, 7 p.m. Friday on BCSN+. But now it's time for Game of the Week, brought to you in Dunn Chevy in Oregon. Cisco, do the thing. A great matchup this Friday on the community channel because the Walleye are in town. We'll talk more about what all that situation is a little bit later in the games list. St. Ed's coming to town to take on St. John's. The Titans back-to-back games Monday and Tuesday, getting wins over Voyer College Prep on Monday and then Detroit Loyola on Tuesday. And this is another team where we expect things from Jaden Jones. We expect things from Ray Kowalczyk. But Monday's leading scorer, Ethan James. Tuesday's leading scorer, 23 points from Coy Hammock. Great signs as you head into playoff basketball for Coach Mike Schoen and company, Dion.
Well, James and Hammock, they've been pretty consistent. I remember 100%. Ethan James was our player of the week earlier in the year.
I will shout Ethan James celebrations from the rooftops. That's my guy.
Yeah, but St. Ed's, I think they're 14-7, right?
Yes.
But I don't think their 7 losses are equivalent to St. John's 7. Let's just call it what it is. Now, what they can do is score. I was looking them up. They scored 121 points earlier in the year. The problem was, I think they gave up 107.
111 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So, I think they tried to outscore you. This is a great matchup. I'm picking St. John's on this one.
I like it. I like the homer pick.
St. John's has won 8 of their last 10. Their 2 losses to Brother Rice and St. Mary's in league play. Looking at the RPI, everybody knows I love my RPI. So RPI, St. Ed's is 0.600. St. John's is 0.544. But what is a little more drastically different, opponents' winning percentage. St. Ed's opponents' winning percentage, they win 64% of their games. St. John's opponents' winning percentage just 47%. So maybe a little bit more. I might counter your talk there about the opponents, but I get the Detroit Catholic League.
Yeah, we got to factor that
100%, 100%. But I think regardless, if St. John's can get a win, this would be a huge, big boost of confidence for them as they enter the postseason, because in Division II, in our area and then beyond, there ain't any easy games. I think we might be, St. John's should be able to get into the second round of the tournament. That should not be a problem, but from there on, yes, and then Northview can throw, the Horton Brother Bowl there.
And not according to Raheem Brown.
Yeah, I know. Raheem Brown says no problemo, and a post-game interview from Monday night. If you want to see that, BCSN
Bulletin board material for Coach McDonald. Yeah.
But one team, to bring another team into this game of the week scenario, St. Ed's and St. John's, Perrysburg is going to get this film because St. Ed's could be on Coach Dave Boyce and the Yellow Jackets tournament schedule if Perrysburg can knock off Cleveland Heights. So that'll be an interesting look at a local team facing St. Ed's. But this is going to be a game where, yes, Jaden Jones and Race Kowalczyk and everyone else that we've talked about on St. John's roster, this is going to be a galvanizing game where everyone, it's going to be, in my opinion, I think this has an opportunity. You got all-boys Catholic school coming to an all-boys Toledo school, Cleveland to Toledo. It should be a packed house in the Titan Dome. You're going to get a tournament-like atmosphere before the tournament actually gets here.
Yeah, so coming into this week, St. John's was giving up just 49 points per game, and to Deion's credit, what he talked about, Ed's is giving up almost 63 points per game. So a disparaging difference there, about 14 points between how many points each team's giving up. So we'll see how this one checks out at the Titan Dome, a huge matchup Friday night to see how Coach Mike Schoen and company put things together to keep this winning streak rolling along. Now we'll be right back. We'll catch our breath for 30 seconds after B-Dubs talks to you. Hit it, Cisco.
I've saved so much money enjoying Buffalo Wild Wings BOGO half-off traditional wing Tuesdays. I can finally afford everything I've ever wanted in life. Wings. All I ever wanted was more wings. So yeah, buy one, get one half-off traditional wings is the perfect deal for me and my lifetime yearnings. I value it more than literally anything. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
Trust the Midas touch. Well, I trust the Midas games list. Give me the graphics, Cisco. Here we go. A packed house Thursday and Friday. We've got Tenora and O'Hills that we talked about on the girls' side. We've also got TC taking on Ellie Everts and Gibsonburg. Both of those are playoff action on Thursday night. And then we hop to Friday. The Fish are back in town. They'll be on BCSN. So Game Day Nation will slide over to the NLL Network, which is why our game of the week is on the community channel. Anthony Wayne and Northview in their final wrap-up of the NLL Buckeye action. Lincoln King comes to town to take on St. Francis. Hopewell Loudon and the O'Hills boys go at it. Carey, TC, and then on the hockey playoff side, Clay and St. Francis, and then BG and Northview. I'm out of breath.
That's a lot of games and a lot of action. So many reasons to download the BCSN Plus app today. Head to BCSNNation.com for those details. Community channel is channel 100 on Stream TV. So just search for it in your cable endeavors. But also all of the games you see on your screen are live on the BCSN Plus app. You can stream it to your TV.
And he didn't miss a step back from Italy. No jet lag here.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that TC. Gibsonburg TC kind of came out of nowhere and won the TAC title there as Ottawa Hills and TC were battling on both the boys and girls side within the TAC. But Gibsonburg, a chance to see Ellie Everts from Gibsonburg, who she's a sophomore, getting recruited by Butler. Took a picture with Caitlin Clark earlier this season.
She's a hooper, was on a visit. Says.
But Ottawa Hills beat Gibsonburg, and TC beat Ottawa Hills. I think they might have split the regular season. But the fact that my point is, it should be a good game.
Yes.
Based on that, because the Gibson-Brigado Hills game was pretty competitive.
It's a heck of a slate to wrap up some of the regular season and get us rolling into the playoffs on a Friday night. Not much more we could ask for, Dion.
Don't sleep on that A-Dub Northview game. That's going to be a good one. At Northview, I like that game. And also, I watched St. Francis the other night. They are back on point.
Yeah.
So watch those guys as well.
7-game skid. Peace out. They're looking good.
All right, we are ready to go Friday night on Game Day Nation. Oh, by the way, Midas is going to be there checking stuff out, too, because we got our top 10 first-team All-BCSN list coming out
Who'd you vote
Friday.
We'll find out.
Yeah, you got to watch. You got to watch.
Stays here until we hit the top 5. That's it for us today. Thanks for coming out to the BCSN Nation podcast. Brand new episodes every single Wednesday. Make sure you join us. See you next week.